So let's talk about the three different buckets that exist with technology nowadays in the cloud-native space, or technology in general. You have the traditional way of doing it. Now you have this new wave, or cloud-native, coming down the line. And then also you have the serverless platform that is pretty new and still has a level of risk that you need to think about. So let's dig into each one of these a little bit deeper. We have our traditional ways of doing things. We used to have this little WAR file or EAR file or something like that to deploy our code to our servers. Then we'd have something that would sometimes take months or if not weeks to deploy, and it caused so many frustrations. Luckily, we're moving past this, and now we're moving to our new wave. Frankly speaking, I'm calling it new wave because I don't want to say cloud native over and over again. But what is it? It's our next step. It's what we're moving past our traditional way of doing things. We have these great things called containers now, which allows us to be able to package up our code in smaller bits and be able to push things out in a fast, efficient way. And share code where it works on my laptop no longer means it just works on your laptop. It works anywhere a container can run. And another great thing about the new wave or the cloud-native space is that it only takes minutes to deploy. Now you're probably wondering, why am I talking about all this when I should be talking about risk? We need to have some level set of understanding of all these different technologies before we dig into the risk profiles of each of these. And hopefully it'll open up some spaces for this. Serverless is still built off of containers, just like our new wave or cloud-native space. But the beauty of it is it's so small. It's just the changes you need to worry about. It leverages true microservices where functions do all the work. But that brings in an interesting risk profile when you start talking about these technologies. So let's actually take this next step and talk about what happens when you start worrying about these different systems for your risks. So how do companies actually mitigate risk when it comes to moving to cloud native? First thing they do is they start to learn to trust their engineers. But with that trust takes a little bit of time. They leverage something called the 4I rule and make small iterative changes. With that comes at least 4 eyes looking at every small change to be able to be merged into the main branch. But when that gets merged, what happens next? They leverage the bots to do the work for you. No longer do you have someone releasing some code at 3 in the morning. Instead, when you merge it into the main branch, the bots take over and release the code for you. This means you no longer have a council of elders of senior engineers and executives discussing every single change. Now you let the bots do the work for you. But with that comes complexity. We're going to talk about how to take care of some of that complexity, leverage something called GitOps, which, believe it or not, is pretty dang cool. So what is GitOps? Simply said, it's leveraging a Git repository as your source of truth for the deployment of your applications. It can be production, it can be development, it could be even dev. So how does GitOps actually make your life easier when it comes from the angle of risk? First thing first, you can actually audit any change you've ever made. Can you actually answer when the last time you deployed your application and who made what change? The majority of people out there, they can't. Leveraging GitOps, you actually have an auditable system through the Git history. With that too, that means you can also verify what the change has been made because it's cryptographically signed using the Git hash algorithm. This is important, especially in regulated environments. Taking it a step farther, if something horrible goes wrong, you actually take that Git repository and recreate whatever you're trying to do in another environment. This gives you the ability to make sure that it comes out exactly how you want every single time. You have to leverage different technologies, though, to enforce these GitOps principles, like Argo CD or Flux CD. But that means you need to start trusting the bots to do the work for you. This is going to be a big problem for a lot of companies, because no longer are you going to have humans do these changes. You are now having the machines do the changes. So you're going to have to spend some time with your operations team, your SRE team, your DevOps team, to really be able to embrace this new mentality. But you will reduce your risk in the long term because you'll be able to enforce things leveraging the GitOps principles. Thank you. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below.